said it, you like it.
So what do you think of that? Is that better than you could do?
No.
So let's just critique this for a little bit. What does critique mean? Anybody think? Well, if you critique something, what do you do? Yes.
Like, discuss it.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. You discuss it and you say, what do you think about it and what could you have done better or worse? Or starting with you. Yes.
Filming in there was kind of weird. Like it was kind of like when they talked, it was like you can't hear what they're saying.
Can't hear. Okay. And
You can hear.
part of that will be kind of up to me that I do the edit. I'm going to do the editing at the end because we'll probably have lots of bits and pieces. So yeah, you want to be able to hear. So I might even get a better camera than this. It's just a little my home camera, but we'll get one with the new ones that they have with a good microphone. They just got one with a $400 microphone that they do. So anyone else want to say something about what they thought about this presentation? Was she excited, lively? Yes.
She was kind of like bored. She seemed bored and she wasn't looking at the screen.
Okay. Now, part of that's true and part of it isn't. Now, yeah, I mean, that's true. She wasn't looking at the screen, but when you see newsreaders, they do read the stuff. So you kind of, unless you've memorized it, and if you've memorized it, it doesn't sound kind of newsy. So it's like, we'll talk about different ways of presentation, like whether we're going to have it with a computer in front of us or whether we're going to have paper. So that's true. But she does, you do need to look up. So we'll talk about this when we start writing up where you have to look up once in a while. So you need to kind of read ahead in your mind and then say something. But something more about just her presentation. This poor girl doesn't know we're pulling her apart, does she? Yes.
I just didn't seem like in news, so like this happened, it's more interesting. Because this time it's like
Okay, it's kind of a monotone voice. She didn't change her voice. She didn't kind of up and down. Yes.
I think like on the TV when they do news and stuff, they have sort of a screen in front of them that they look at, but the camera doesn't film the screen. The screen has the words that they're supposed to say on it.
Okay, well, that's also, we'll come back to that with different ways of presentation. So what we want to start off with, first we want to get a logo. Do you know what a logo is? It's a representation of something. Like Channel 7 has a logo, CNN News has a CNN, right?
Yeah.
So we want to come up with a class one for live from the 4th grade.
Well, what is the St. Luke's logo?
the ox.
Right, the flying ox. So
Okay.
we might do something with that, or maybe we can do something even more specific.
Or with a big 4 with that.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have after school with Mr. Mason?
Sometimes. Not in class.
Because he's a real
I
good
know
artist.
Maddie's in there a lot with him.
I know he's a good guy.
You have him? Like, do you do art with him or?
And my brother does.
Okay, maybe, yeah, we've got to keep it. Is he in this? He's not in fourth grade, no.
He's in
Okay, maybe, do you mind if I ask him if you could work with him to make we just make a poster or something that would be hanging on the desk, or maybe up here. This is all stuff that we have to come up with of how we're going to present it. Because part of it, let's say if we decide to do it this way, because it's going to be up to you to decide what is the physical space going to look like. If we're going to have 2 people with a desk here, and then we go switch the stories. We could have an interview. We could have somebody reviewing a book. We'll come back to that, sitting over there. But a lot of it is we can switch to here, right? Because we have this here. So if we talk about Tibet, somebody can start talking about, you went to the Tibet house, and then we could have a little bit of a clip on here, or some of the photos, because I took a little bit of film that day. I followed you there. It's not a lot, but this is something we want to think about when you go to Plymouth. That you might want to write individual stories of things you saw and stuff. So we'll come back to that too. What I want you to do now, do you have paper with you?
I do.
Okay. Is we're going to just brainstorm of, if you're going to present a story, what would that story be? What would you like to write? What would you like to say? Now it's got to be 4th grade relevant. It can't be, we're not making up stories. Like we looked at some of these other ones, and the kids were doing little plays outside, and they were pretending that somebody did something or something, I don't know. But we're just real stories. However, to give you a little idea, have you seen channel CNN News where they have the Situation Room?
Yeah.
They go to that and they talk about there's a flooding or something, or Okay, now we could have a situation room where you go to the situation room and it could be about the lunchroom, maybe, like she mentioned about the lunchroom, but it wasn't exciting. She said, oh, maybe at lunch we could have Coke, which isn't gonna happen, so it's probably not worthwhile saying that. But what you might want to do is go to the situation room and say, well, there's not enough, whatever, French fries this week, or lettuce, or
There's not enough yogurt.
enough yogurt. It's not, you might talk about this, and then we can do some filming of you in there with that as the background. So we'll be, whatever your story is, if it's somewhere within the school, then we can take you there and we'll film a little bit, or you will film it actually. I'll just follow you around because I want you to do this. And for example, let's say you're learning a new piece in Miss Beamont's music class, you might want to demonstrate that. And actually, I think I'll have one of you film a little bit in there. I think you have music with her on Thursday, so maybe Thursday she will have you film you, or you will be, because you're doing the Rio or something?
Irish Rio.
Irish, that's a very complicated piece, so maybe she will discuss that, or you do a little piece on that, and what do you think of it, Because we want your opinions too. We don't want you just to say, well, it sucks. We want you to say, well, it's really difficult, but because we're really clever, we got through it. Anyway, so let's just try this.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is I'd like you to, let's see, Kate, why don't you work with Katie, okay? You two can work together. You three can work together, and you two can work together, okay?
But this doesn't mean that this is the grouping that you will be
Right.
doing your stories in.
What you're going to be doing is you're just going to try to come up with at least 5 good news stories about our class or about our school that you think would be good for this. We're just brainstorming right now, so no story is bad, but we're not making up things. So Katie, you can come over here.
And just one quick thing before you start.
You're not doing water, you've got it.
Every story has something in the very first sentence, the first paragraph really. And there are 5 W's. Every single story you ever read in any of your scholastic magazines or you hear in the news. You have where was the story? What are you talking about? Was the story in the newsroom? In the lunchroom? Was it in the hall? Where was it? And then
I bet you guys could tell them. What's
Okay.
the other ones?
What's the other W's? Yes.
When,
You already done that?
what?
Yeah, what is this about that's sort of like the major
Yes?
one?
How? I'm not
And sometimes how, you're right, sometimes how is important because maybe if we were doing the music room, if we were doing what you're practicing, maybe how long you've been
Yes.
practicing.
Okay.
Why?
Sorry, I should have had them say it because you already know that. So remember when you're writing, you're not going to write out the whole story now. You're just giving an idea. So you might say, well, your story might be a sports story. Okay. So what is your sports story going to be? Like where in the gym, who, the second grade team from another school beat you 120-10 in basketball. You're very embarrassed. When, what? Stuff like that. So.
For now, though, you can just write a list of different stories that you think might be good stories within your little group of 3. So Max, I think what would be a good idea is if you came over here. That